As we enter into the spring, those of you in the country know that the grass is starting to green up. To me, that is always a very welcome sight after winter. With green grass, particularly pastures, means that some planning and management are necessary so that the pasture is used to its full extent, whether by grazing the grass, forage, or by using the grass as a harvested forage, hay. Pasture management really is not one size fits all. Generally, it depends on what types of grasses you have, the number of acres you have, the number of animals you have, the type of grass species you have, and location of the pasture. For example, in Nebraska, grazing a pasture in the Panhandle is very different than grazing a pasture in the southeast portion of the state. The types of grasses are typically very different, as well as the amount of rainfall that is received each year, and therefore we have the different stocking rates or number of animals per acre. In this program, we will give you some basics about pasture management, starting with warm versus cool season grasses and introduced versus native species. Cool season grasses begin growing in early spring and slow or even stop growing in summer, then renew growth in cool months of the fall. Some livestock producers use cool season grasses like smooth brome or orchard grass for early spring grazing, and then warm season grasses like bluestems and gramas during the summer, and then go back to cool season grasses in the fall. Cool season grasses grow best at temperatures of 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Some other examples of cool season grasses are Festulolium, Meadowbrome, tall Fescue, Timothy, Wheatgrass, Junegrass, and needle and thread. Warm season grasses start growth in late spring and continue to grow throughout the summer. Growth stops in early fall. Most typically, warm season plants require less water to produce a unit of dry matter. This helps explain why they are more productive during the hot, dry time of the year. Warm season plants do well in temperatures of 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Some examples of warm season grasses are big bluestem, blue grama, Indiangrass, and Sideoats Grama. Here are some established pastures that have been planted to warm season grasses. Both warm and cool season types of grasses are important to pasture managers. Generally, warm and cool season grasses should not be grown together in a field. These grasses are more productive and easier to manage when grown in separate pastures. Introduced grass or legume species are just that. Those have been introduced or seeded rather than what would grow as natives. A few examples of legumes are alfalfa, clover, and bird's foot trefoil. A little bit more about legumes. Legumes can be beneficial to a pasture by providing nitrogen to the soil, which will help the other plants grow. Additionally, they will allow more grazing by adding more plant material and will provide added protein to the animal's diet. There are some challenges that you must manage around, however. Alfalfa has great nutritious value as feed. However, when standing, it can also cause bloat to cattle, sheep, or goats. It is easy to establish and is one of the quickest legumes to establish. Bird's foot trefoil is slow to establish but will increase over time. Cattle tend to like grazing it, and there's not a risk of bloat with this legume. White clover is another option. Clover also has some risk associated with bloat, but it does carry some feed value. White clover appears to be more suited for moist areas. I'm Sara Ellicott with the University of Nebraska Lincoln Extension.